So today we're going to take a look at a song from the Piano Adventure series by Nancy and Randall Faber. The particular book we're looking at is Book 2B. And this Piano Adventure series, you can get it from pretty much any music store or online. You can purchase this book. And within the series, within level 2B, for example, there are different books that hit upon different areas of skill for piano. So this book is a technique book. There also is a lesson book, a theory book, a sight reading book. Today we're mainly going to be drawing from the technique book, which is this one, as well as the lesson book and a little bit from the sight reading book. So let's take a look at what's inside of the book, and what we're going to be looking at today is sixths. So I'm opening up to page 10, and this is where they explain and where we're going to learn about what the interval of a sixth is. So the interval of a sixth, let's talk about that a little bit. I'll just put the book right here. So when we're talking about intervals, first of all, what are we talking about? We're talking about the distance between two notes on the piano. So just to take a very simple example, let's say that you're playing two notes, E and F. These are, E and F are next to each other on the keyboard, 1, 2 steps. That's the interval of a second, because it's 2 steps, 2 letters away. Let's say we're looking at E, F, G, 1, 2, 3 steps, or 3 letters away, interval of a third. E to G, E, F, G, 3 letters, it's an interval of a third. Now the interval that we use a lot when we're playing, when we're first learning to play, is the interval of a fifth. Can you guess why? It's because we have 5 fingers on our hand. So it makes a lot of sense to start with the biggest interval being a fifth. But today we're actually going to expand that interval out up 1 more. So when you take a fifth and you add 1 more, you're going to get a sixth. And that's the interval that we're talking about today. So let's start out with thumb on E. That's your first note. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Put your pinky on C, the interval of a sixth above or to the right of E. So E, C, C, E, C. We're playing it now 2 ways. E, C, C. This is a melodic interval because we only hear 1 note at a time. E, C. This is a harmonic interval when you're playing the 2 notes at the same time. Just a bit of terminology for you. It won't make a huge difference to your playing whether you know these terms, but these terms are part of the lingo of learning music. All right, so we've got a warm-up that's actually in this technique book. If you flip to page 10, that'll warm your hands up for playing the sixths. So it says right here, to start with that E, E, C, C, C. That's your bass pattern. Lift up your hand now and drop your thumb onto F. What's going to be 6 letters up from F? It's going to be D. So that's our next 2 bars. F, D, D, F, D. And we'll lift and drop, thumb over to G, the next key to the right. Just continue this pattern on, moving your thumb to the right each time, 1 key. Lift and drop, D, B, B, D, and B. And we're ending on E. We're ending on the same notes E and C that we started on. Now we're just in the top. Okay, now let's try it with the left hand. So again, thumb is on C for left hand this time. Pinky will be on E. This time we're going lower. Thumb to B, D, D, B, and D. A, C, C, A, and C. So continue this warm-up several times over, it's going to get you really acquainted with playing sixths and with having your hand in the position of a sixth. There's actually a recommendation in this book on page 10 of the technique book. Again, we're in level 2B. There's a recommendation in here for how you can arrange your fingers of your hand. If you just look right up here, right in the corner, there's a suggestion that you use this type of fingering position. Put your thumb on E, skip over letter F, and have your second finger, your index finger, on G. From there, third finger on A, fourth finger on B, fifth finger on C. This position is actually the position that you're going to need for today's song, which is called Shave and a Haircut. So let's go look at the song right now and hear how that sounds. So we said that today we're looking at sixths, and the piece that we're looking at is from Lesson Book 2B from Faber, flipping over to page 18. It's called Shave and a Haircut. This piece uses a mix of intervals, but the main intervals that it's using are sixths and also a couple of fourths. Those are the main intervals that you'll be needing to know really well to play this song. So before I talk about this, I'm just going to play through it so you can hear how it sounds like. So, probably you've heard this song before. I feel like it's one of those songs that people always try to play, whether or not they like to play piano or ever took lessons in piano. They always want to play this kind of songs. It's just really fun. It's pretty simple to learn once you know the tricks of the trade. So let's go ahead and jump in and learn it. Okay, so we're looking at the first line of the Shave and a Haircut song, and let's look at bar 2. So if you look at bar 2, you'll see in the right hand in the top line here, we're already running into a harmonic interval. Again, harmonic interval, when I say that term, harmonic interval, I'm just saying you have two notes that are playing at the same time. So again, a harmonic interval, two notes, they're playing at the same time. How do you know that they're playing at the same time? Well, when you look at the music, you'll see that they are vertically lined up here. So here we have an E in the first full bar, we have an E and a C. So if you already warmed up previously with that other book, you did this exercise, this interval is already going to be very familiar to you, and your hand's just going to be ready to go. Again, don't forget, for this particular song, you're going to have your second finger, your index finger, already set on G. You got that? So don't have this finger over on the F. Have your second finger on G, third finger on A, fourth finger on B, fifth finger on C. This is the position that you're going to need to play the first 3 full bars. All right? So let's go ahead and look at the right hand for the first 3 bars. We're going to look at how this right hand works first, just in terms of the rhythm, and then we'll go back to the intervals. So in the right hand, we have rest, quarter, quarter, eighth, eighth, rest, quarter, quarter, eighth, eighth, rest, quarter, rest, quarter. It's your first 3 bars. They also have in this book some counts written in for you in that first bar. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, 2, 3, 4. That's your rhythm for the first 3 bars, and here's how it's going to look. I'll play it with both hands, but again, you can focus for now just on learning one hand at a time. We have 2 hands, but we don't have 2 minds. So don't try to learn 2 hands if you're learning a brand new piece. Just break it down and just use one hand. Focus on learning one hand at a time. So starting from the first full bar. Okay, so there's already a pattern emerging here. Those 6 are present in the first bar and the second bar and in the third bar as well. And you see these dots under here show you to play with a light staccato touch. Looking for more patterns, if you compare the first full bar and the second full bar, you'll see a resemblance. In fact, they're exactly the same. So it's a 2 for 1. So if you practice bar 2, you'll already have practiced bar 3 in effect, which is pretty neat for us. So let's practice bar 2, bar 1, I mean. Okay, and that bar, it repeats. Same thing for the second full bar. Third bar, you want to watch out for this because it's different. The rhythm is different. Similar notes here on the second beat and on the fourth beat. But you just want to count for those rests on the first beat and the third beat. So again, watch out if there's ever a change. If you have a pattern like in bar 2 or bar 1 and 2, and then there's a change in bar 3, you want to think about that. Maybe even take out your pencil and circle these rests. That's just something to look out for, is these changes to the pattern that you've already gotten used to. Okay, so bar 3 is going to be rest, rest. Okay, so putting it all together from the beginning. So beginning, there's a little pickup notes here, A and G. Again, I played all of that with the 2 hands, but for you at home, just starting out with 1 hand is great. So we'll do the same 3 bars. This time we'll use the left hand. This is going to be a nice break for you because left hand is pretty simple here. We have middle C, rest, rest, middle C, 2 counts, rest, rest, middle C, then A, then G, and rest, rest. Okay, once you've done that left hand a few times over, you can put it all together and have those first couple of lines put together with the 2 hands. Okay, let's look at bar 4, 5, and 6. Bars 4, 5, 6, and 7, they're not using the interval of the 6th anymore. So take a moment to look at that change and figure out what's the new interval that you're going to need to play in those new bars. So look over here, we have a thumb on F in bar 4, and 4th finger is on B. Okay, counting those letters, F, G, A, B. 4 letters, it's a 4th. This is the interval you're going to need for bar 4, and bar 5, and bar 6. Before you even play bar 4, bar 5, and bar 6, you can take a look and compare those 3 bars for any patterns. Looking at these 3 bars, they all start with a rest. They have a 4th that repeats twice, and then ending with A, G. It turns out that bars 4, 5, and 6 are all the same. They're repeats of each other. So they're going to sound like this. Here's bar 4. Rest. Just do this 3 times. And that gives you bar 4, 5, and 6. All right, so looking at left hand now, we have in bar 4 G, and rest, rest, G, rest, rest, G, rest, rest. All together now, bars 4, 5, and 6 are going to sound like this. So we're already putting together the first 6 bars. We're pretty much through most of the first section. You can tell when a section changes when you see something like this, where you have the 2 different endings and you have a repeat sign. This shows that this piece has 2 different sections. The first section ends here in bar 8, and the second section is from bar 9, 10 to the end. This is your repeat sign here showing that you're going to play the first section 2 times. All right, so let's just finish up with our first section, which is what we're talking about today, and finish learning here the last two bars, bar 7 and bar 8. Okay, so bar 7, we have F and B as the harmonic interval. Again, F, G, A, B, interval of a fourth. Same thing, same interval you played in bar 6. But look over here at bar 8. You can see already bar 7 and 8, the intervals do not look the same. There's more of a space here in bar 8, and to be precise, it is the space of a sixth in bar 8. In fact, it's the very same sixth and the very same notes that we used in the very beginning of the piece. Those notes are E and C. In other words, from bar 7 to 8, there's a transition. You're going to change your hand position going from bar 7 into bar 8. And you already had changed your hand position earlier when you went from over here. If you look at bar 3 and 4, in bar 3, you're playing a sixth, E and C. In bar 4, you're playing this fourth, F and B. Now, really the only thing that has to move is just your thumb from E to F. So you go ahead and practice going back and forth between the interval of the sixth, E and C, and the interval of a fourth, F and B. That's going to help you at those transition points, the two transition points from bars 3 to 4, and again from bars 7 to 8. So for bars 7 to 8, just to play and finish up with right hand, we have rest, F and B, rest, 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 bar 8, E and C. Okay, left hand for bars 7 and 8, G, A, B, C. And hands together for bars 7 to 8. Fourth, get ready for sixth. Okay, all 8 bars from the beginning. Still 6. 6, get ready, fourth. Fourth. Fourth again. We're in bar 7, changing to 6. So that gives you an idea of how the intervals work in the first 8 bars. For more practice on switching back and forth between these intervals, I would recommend using the sight reading book, which is this one right here, Sight Reading Book 2B. This sight reading book, it's so great not just for sight reading, it actually uses similar hand motions that you'll need in the related piece. So the sight reading book is a good way to practice your skills at reading notes rapidly, but it's also a good way and another way to get into the technique, into the hand techniques, in this case, switching back and forth between those intervals. So the sight reading book will tell you in the upper corner what the related lesson book is. So here, Shave and a Haircut was pages 18 to 19. So look here in the sight reading book, you'll see up in the corner it says, based on lesson book pages 18 to 19 here in the sight reading book. For your reference, I'm on page 28 of the sight reading. It also has Shave and a Haircut right here, the exact same title. So you can totally tell which exercises are going to match the piece that you're doing. So just a quick look, let's just take a look at day 1 so you can see how it relates to everything that we just talked about and kind of summarizes it. So I'm going to put Shave and a Haircut aside, the lesson book. Let's look at the sight reading book. Okay, so we're just going to look at day 1 right now for the sight reading book. I'll play it really quick, and then I'll ask you a few questions to see if you remember what we talked about. Ready? Alright, so that was the sight reading day 1, Shave and a Haircut. So now a few questions for you. Okay, looking at the first full bar here, what interval, what harmonic interval is your right hand going to play for that first bar? Okay, if you said a sixth, you're correct. Ding ding, that is exactly what you're playing for that first bar. And it's actually the exact same notes that you're playing in the Shave and a Haircut piece in the lesson book. Okay, next question, bar 2. What harmonic interval are we going to have to play for bar 2? So figure that out. Get your fingers on the right notes here. Thumb to F, fourth finger to B. F to B, 4 letters, 4 keys away, interval of a fourth. So we have 6, second bar, fourths, third bar, more fourths, and last bar, more sixths. So if you get tired of playing, the Shave and a Haircut from the lesson book, and you want to just do something really quick, or maybe you just don't have much time, the sight reading book is a nice way to go. A lot of these exercises are short. This one was 4 bars. This one's about 8 bars, day 2. I'll tell you right now, the day 2 preps you for the second page of Shave and a Haircut, which we didn't talk about today. So the sight reading book also helps break down your practicing as well. So if you practice day 1, you'll be ready to practice the first page of the piece. If you practice day 2 of the sight reading, you'll be ready to approach the second page of the piece. So this sight reading book really comes in handy. And if you look inside, you'll see that for every piece that's in the lesson book, there's 1 week or 5 working days worth of sight reading exercise. So in the book, the next one is called Jumpin' Jazz Cat. In the lesson book, the next song. And in the sight reading book, there's 5 days worth of Jumpin' Jazz Cat. So I hope that you enjoyed this lesson today on intervals, and particularly the interval of a sixth. When I teach piano, especially newer, beginner students, they are so used to playing in the 5-finger position because we have 5 fingers and we stick to that interval of a fifth. They get kind of intimidated after playing, half a book of 5-finger position and having to change into the interval of a sixth. But we're going to need to play larger and larger intervals as we progress into music. So there's nothing to see different about it or be afraid of. It's not any harder. It's just something to get used to. And this Shave and a Haircut is such a cool song to play for it. So again, I hope that you enjoyed this and that you'll be back for more. Goodbye.
Very well done. Let me
Thanks, Dr. Bull.
yeah, let me just close all this down.